Morning, Matt. Morning, Don. Morning,
But
Matt.
my name's not Matt, but I'll say hi.
Well, Matt's right there.
I know. You could see him. You couldn't see me. You're okay.
Oh, I could see you actually.
No, it was just it was my emblem, right? The logo.
I'm talking. Matt had it for a second, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, we both have the same. We're both on the same Zoom, so the picture is the same. We just have to keep changing our names. So how does it feel to be done with your internship, on to the next phase?
It feels good, but it's a little not overly frustrating, but like right when you get into a different pattern and you're getting comfortable, then you stop. And then you have to turn back to, Army stuff and clearing. So it'll just be nice to stop transitioning.
There you go. How's things looking for the job with that company?
So I did get a job offer. That was in one of my wins.
Okay.
The very last week I did 4 interviews. It's for a sister team that I worked with, but yeah, I start January 9th.
All right.
So pretty excited about that.
Yeah. I don't mean to steal the thunder of your win. Hopefully you share that again, but
I will.
Since you're here, I figure we'd talk.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm excited for you. This has been great.
Thank you.
I appreciate all your efforts on LinkedIn too. Morning, Pat. How are you doing?
Good morning. How y'all doing?
Good. Good. Hey, Matt, I know you saw Raymond Hunt's out for work. You're on mute. And did you see Keith Casante's family emergency? I guess you saw that too. You posted on that one.
Yes, I did.
Those are the only 2 that I know of that are out. I
Yeah,
don't know if you know of any others.
those are 2. Yep.
And I'm ready for the education piece whenever you're ready. Once you get started, so you're leading.
We've got a couple minutes here, so
Yep.
I'm setting things up.
Yep. 29 November, Giving Tuesday, Black Friday, Small Business Saturday. What is it? Cyber Monday.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 boom.
Boom, 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 boom.
So Pat, what is the what's the I'm looking behind you, the Texas State, the Star, the Longhorn?
It's just a flag. It's got all the Texas stuff on it. The state flag. I mean, sorry, got the state flower and the Longhorns and the
Bonnets, yeah.
The Alamo on it. Cracker Barrel.
Oh yeah, looks pretty cool.
I've had it for years, and I've traveled all over, and when I was unpacking for my final time, I found it.
Good. I need to pull some of those things out. I was pulling all of our Christmas stuff out yesterday, and my wife's like, some of this hasn't come downstairs in like ages. I said, well, maybe it doesn't deserve to be in the attic anymore.
Yeah.
She kind of looked at me. So you got to touch on that. She used to do that to me all the time with my my books from college. When's the last time you touched this book? Oh, years. Well, why do we still keep it? Why do we keep moving it? Because I might need it.
Yeah, I might need it.
Yeah. Did I ever need it?
No.
Yeah, I wish I would have been smart enough at the end of some of those classes just to sell the book back. It would have done better for me. But I wasn't, and I didn't.
Okay, Don, we're gonna get started here. Please start with your educational.
Past spotlight. Always do that one first.
Yes, well, we had spotlight. Yeah, let's look at that real quick. Who do we have in the spotlight? I'm not seeing that we had one.
We had Sam Mitchell in false interview.
And here he comes.
Yep.
I'm sorry, what?
We were just talking about, you were in the spotlight about false interviews and all that. We just want to know what's happened since we last discussed that with you 3 weeks ago.
False interviews.
That
Oh,
was
you're
tough.
talking about folks calling up to be able to do the, they call you up and they want to, gosh, kind of just woke up. Right, they call you up and they're really hot and heavy for you to take a new job, but what ended up happening is ends up being a low paying job, basically a sales job. That's what ended up happening with me. And but I haven't done anything since then. I've just been doing my work. That's all.
Okay. We weren't sure if that brought value to you, if you were able to take some of this action steps forward and work on them.
I was bringing up as a point to one of the other participants. I can't remember his name. It was,
Okay.
I think it was Aldo. He talked about it, I think, and that I had encountered that as well. So I was giving some ideas that, hey, maybe you want to take a look at it, but you need to be wary, especially if you send your resume out and then literally a day later somebody sends you something back, says, we want to interview you right now. Those are the kind of guys that want to take you in and get you working for a 35K job as a sales guy. So
Selling knives or something like that? Door-to-door knife salesman?
excuse me.
Door-to-door knife salesman?
Oh, who knows?
Yeah,
Greeting cards. Yeah.
Was
yeah.
Mine was a solar energy salesperson they wanted me to do.
All right.
Yeah.
Are you guys getting a lot of contacts for franchises to start a franchise? No?
Yes, I had
Aldo
one.
is okay.
I mean, I had a couple done, and the guy was. First of all, good morning, everybody. Nice to see
Morning.
everybody again.
morning.
Yeah, I had a couple guys. They called me, and I was like, I'm not interested in franchises. If I want to start a franchise, I just contact the company like directly. Like I don't need you to do my bidding for me. So he's like, yeah, but veterans, this and that, my son. And I was like, so where's your son? And he goes, oh, 75th Regiment. And I was like, great. What battalion? Because I can find who your son is pretty quick. And, he hanged up and I was like, oh. But it's a lot of, that one, and I had a lot of financial advisors. They calling me and they're like, oh, you want to work for these two companies that actually like tried to recruit. I think is North something and another one that starts with a P. And I was like, guys, stop calling me. I'm not into financial advising. Like I'm in corporate finance and financial advising are two totally different things. Yep. And I don't need to tell somebody how to add 1 + 1 and pay his credit card or her credit card. Like,
yeah, there's incredible value in what you just said in terms of knowing what you want to do and what you don't want to do. And I don't berate people for wanting to sell you their franchise or get you to be a financial advisor. Hey, they're trying to do their business, right? But us being able just to turn it off and say, no, thanks, and move on. Don't even attach any emotion to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks, Aldo. I appreciate you bringing that forward, and thanks, Sam, for talking the past spotlight. Because what we always want to do is make sure when we get to this point that we're looking back at what we talked about last time and the actions that we're taking forward. So let me go ahead and share then with the screen for education. And what I saw this morning, it ties into the topic I wanted to talk about this week, which I posted this on our MTR open page, is despite the turndown, hiring is staying up. I mean, we hear a lot of things about all these companies that are laying off people, all the tech companies, all that. But I can tell you in the architect, engineer, construction world, we can't get enough people. Environmental world, we can't get enough people. So there's just a lot of, it's kind of by industry right now where people are hiring. And there was a great post a week or so ago, and I shared it. This Matthew Warboys, he put out, everybody's busy, don't spam them. And we start getting into the point where we send a message to them and we don't get a response back, and we start attaching value to it of, oh, I must be doing something wrong, I must not be worthy, must not be the right fit. You have no idea, right? But it's a job you wanted. And the question is, do you keep emailing them and getting no response and getting frustrated, or do you take a different approach? And what he was advocating was taking a different approach. Go to their most recent 10 LinkedIn posts and leave an insightful comment. Start to get that name recognition with them, so they start recognizing your name. And look out for comment responses. Keep the conversation going. So anytime you post and then they respond back, even if it's just a real short one, hey, thanks, something like that, put another insightful comment. An insightful comment is not, oh, great point, Matt, or great point, Don. That's not an insightful comment, right? Right, Matt?
Yeah, I'm waiting for you to get your brother Eric, because I have a lot of thoughts on this. I
Go.
like what this guy said, which is the 10,
Yeah.
it's put it in context of what they're offering, it's like, you get noticed this way. I can guarantee if you really want to get on someone's radar, this is one of the ways. The other thing I would tell you is there's a little thing called the bell, right? Can you pull up the profile real quick, and someone's profile. And if you do that, you'll see that there's a bell. Yeah, there's a bell on all these people, on a lot of people. Go ahead and go to yours. Okay.
I guess I can't see my own.
Yeah, but if you look
Can't see.
up me. Yeah, there you go. No.
Let's just look at this guy real quick. It's Matt Durbin. He popped up. There's the bell.
Yeah, there's the bell, right? There's one of our former students. Okay. Click the bell. It's going to notify you every time he says something significant. It's the bell is really a key feature. In fact, I'm watching a guy named Richard, who I've been following, and he has the bell in there that talks about the bell. In fact, he puts a post in each of his posts. Hey, want to get my information? Please click on my bell. So
I don't see a bell on yours. That's interesting.
I don't know what
Maybe if you're connected to them, you can't see the bell, but if you follow them, you can see the bell.
See, I can see your bell.
There's your bell.
I can see Kelly's. We've been connected for quite a while.
Yeah. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah,
So-
something for Matt to research. Mr. LinkedIn. Yeah, so I appreciate what Matt is saying, and I wanted to touch on that insightful comment, right? It's not, hey, great post, or something real quick, hey, thanks. That's not an insightful comment. But if they're talking, say something about hiring, add something about, hey, yeah, I heard the other day that the architect, engineer, construction community is still hiring due to the government funding coming out of the infrastructure bill. So if you're looking for jobs in that area, there's a lot of opportunity. That would be an insightful comment, right? You could put something that has some value to help. And then look at their posts, comment, look at their comments back, build some rapport back and forth, and then try to reach back to them and say, hey, I applied for a job a couple weeks ago. I haven't heard anything. I was wondering if you can tell me, is their status? But now you've got to trust. Right now, it's not a cold contact. Now it's a warm contact, and maybe even it's a hot contact because you've been going back and forth. So I think it's tough times like this are going to take some different approaches, and that's my whole point here. So comments, thoughts, questions?
I had one done. I mean, the same scenario, and I'm glad you brought it up. So I was applying for at Tilson, which is like a fiber optic company. It's run by a veteran, and he's the CEO. He bought it back in about like 10 years ago. And when I talked to I saw it in LinkedIn, and I applied for an internship position. And when I contacted a couple veterans that worked in the company, all they said was like, hey, we can help you out, but we can direct you to the person. So I reached out to the director that deals with internship for veterans. I sent an email, and she responded. She was like, oh, this particular person is going to reach out, and they never reached out. So what I did, I waited 2 weeks. From there, I reached out to their CEO. So I sent him a friend request in LinkedIn. And after that, I introduced myself, and we set up a meeting. from there,
There you go.
he flagged the position, and senior HR manager, she contacted me during Christmas time. I think, yeah, a day prior to Christmas, Thanksgiving. Sorry, it's too early. A day prior to Thanksgiving, and today at 11, I have an interview with one of the directors for skill
Well
bridge
done.
opportunities. So, yeah, and I had another one actually. I'm waiting on their paperwork, but you know, the guy that actually the military affairs office, the company, he's on orders for Army Reserves, so he's probably drilling right now, and I'm waiting on them too. But I had that's another approach. Like, I liked what you said, Don, as far as like commenting, making thoughtful comments, and engaging with everybody in LinkedIn. And if they don't respond to you, there's other people out there that can respond to you, and trying to find the common denominator. Like for some of them, I found like Shell. I applied at Shell. I just sent an application, a resume. I didn't get accepted because when I reached out to the HR manager, we knew somebody. We had somebody in common, and we both attended Harvard Business School. And the HR manager
Excellent.
told me, you were way too qualified. They said, that's why we couldn't. That's why we denied you.
Okay. Well, nice to
So,
know though, right?
yeah, so it's a lot of people out there that will give you insight. You just gotta
Damn it.
engage with them.
That's right.
That's the bottom line. That's what I think, but I might be wrong. So.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Anybody else? I don't know. Then we'll go to wins and challenges with Matt. Thanks, Aldo. I love the way you got turned away in one place and you went back to another place. That's perfect. And this idea just today is how to build that rapport with somebody else so they do respond.
Yeah, and what the other thing that I found out is that don't be afraid to speak. Like, you can talk to them, of course, respectfully, but try to create their friendship. Like most of the recruiters that I've created a friendship with, and I met some of them in Houston. I never thought they would show up. So I met about like 3-4 of them. We had lunch and coffee, and that's from LinkedIn. They ended up meeting in person, and just say hi to them. They're people too, or the vice president, directors. They want to laugh. They want to hear you complain. Especially if they are veterans. Like some of them, they miss it. One of them, we're talking, and he was like, hey, can we start complaining? He said, and I was shocked in the moment. He was like, I miss it, he said. So it's that their relationship, they're people too. So.
Yep, that's right. Hey, Matt, I saw you switch computers. Are you ready to jump back into wins and challenges, or you need a minute? You're on mute.
It's all the kids going to school today.
Is it?
Yes.
How does that matter?
It's the bandwidth, it's something out there. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Let's do wins and challenges. I'm looking at some of you that I looked at your previous challenges, but let's hear what you have for wins and challenges. And then I'm going to ask you some questions about that as well. So who would like to go first? Kelly?
Sure. So wins, my fellowship, my Hiram Harris fellowship ended, and that last week, I didn't do 4 total interviews that last week, but I did 4 interviews to land a job at the company starting January 9th. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Celebrating. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love it. And congratulations. That's exciting.
Thank you. So another win, I just think we talked previously about patience, about wanting to schedule things and stuff like that. And I think I'm doing pretty good. I'm not overlapping on commitments, and I'm adding time in, like prep time to do stuff. As you go through your transition, you hear things, and at that time it may not resonate, or it may not be applicable, but I'm kind of in a different phase where I'm doing my transition, my 2 weeks of out processing right now. So I don't have free time, but I have time, and I'm just trying to just do a to-do list, have it off to the side, and so I believe I'm doing pretty okay on working on patience. And so those are my wins. My challenges is, I have nothing on the paper, but I think it's just, I haven't figured out a challenge yet, but
Okay.
but I'll what questions you got, Matt?
I'm really been pleased with how much you contributed to LinkedIn, which is why I think you've kind of gained your confidence through this. This is what I love about this group, is that you kind of find your voice. It's a different voice than what you had when you were an officer in the Army, and I really am pleased with what's going on. I just happened to notice that your banner needs to be fixed. We need to talk about that, but
That is in my to-do list of, like, I gotta work LinkedIn, but yes. So in a couple weeks, maybe January, I'll hit you up.
yeah, please, because you're gonna have some challenges with your new title, because LinkedIn is gonna automatically, whatever your title is gonna say, well, that's what we're gonna put for your headline. And
Okay.
I'm on this battle right now on headlines. It's like, we have these headlines like Baker construction, 4 key terms, because that's what they teach you
Yeah.
in the transition program. But really what you want to do is, if you look at Aldo has a very concise, here's what I want you to know about me. If you go
Yep.
down in Aldo's about section, you see all his key skills. So we'll work on that. Okay. And
Okay.
although I'm going to use your profile, because I'm on a campaign right now to help people get educated on the power of a headline. You wouldn't take a game like, let's say, what's your favorite team, Aldo? Football team? Soccer?
Oh, soccer. The World Cup is Germany, but
Okay, so Germany, all right.
Oh,
So it would be like writing a headline that says Germany played a soccer match, right? Ooh,
yeah.
there's nothing to it. But if you think about it, Germany defeats Brazil 2-0 in the World Cup, behind, something like that. That's a more active headline. Again, as a journalist, retired, I've written headlines all my life, and it's a process to change the headline. But yeah, I'm going to follow back with you, ma'am. Okay.
No, absolutely. Thank you.
My pleasure. Okay. Pat, how are you? And I do have some notes from you from the last time. There you go.
I just got to show. I like that picture, man.
Yeah.
Looks good,
Look at
Aldo.
Look at his headline.
yeah, it took me about 10 phone calls to convince the DA photo lab guy to do a headshot for me, but thank God he was retiring, so he agreed. So I had to do it for free.
Mhm.
Okay. Miss Pat?
So I've had more challenges than victories this last 2 or 3 weeks.
Right.
Trying to get interviews and has been a challenge. Discouragement has been a challenge. The one interview that I had, the interviewer told me I needed to smile more, and which kind of irritated me, because you wouldn't tell Matt to smile more, or another guy to smile more, but you would tell a female to smile more. So
I tell Matt to smile all the time.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, so it's been a little discouraging. I have had one interview that was through the Hiring Our Heroes, and I've had 4 through the Transition Alliance, or the Talent Alliance. So I am getting out there and interviewing, which is a good thing.
So Pat, when I looked at my notes for you, you talked about 3 super badges. Help me understand where you are with that.
No progress there.
Okay.
Super badge is a challenge that on the Salesforce site that You're supposed to be able to take a minimal amount of information. It's supposed to mimic real life situation and create a program, so to speak. And I've not been able to do that, but I have been getting help with it.
So can we count on you? And well, we'll get back to the accountability piece, but yeah, that was one of the things you said the last time we met 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, I've been working on it. I have
Yeah,
been
I'm
trying.
smiling now, Casey. It's me. I smile differently than my friend, Brother Gleason over there, right? I have a different personality, but yes. Good. Keep pushing forward, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. Sam, what's going on with you? Mentioned something with Pratt and Whitney. How's that going, buddy? Sam, you're on the mute button. Mute. Sam. Okay.
Yeah, I was like being on mute. I'm sorry. So with Pratt and Whitney, my friend is trying to get me hired there. She's like a senior. She got promoted, so she's been trying to find money to get me promoted. Unfortunately, she found the money, but she can't find anybody to approve it. So she thinks that offer is going to come in at the beginning of January or sometime, which will probably put me right in time to be able to leave this job and go to that one. So I'm pretty confident. I don't think she'd lead me along because, you know, she's a classmate of mine. She's been working really hard for like the last 5 months to try to make this happen.
Yeah.
I talk about every week and, you know, say, hey, what's going on? But I think that it's probably going to be a better offer than I've got here. But it's not going to happen until January. So she says you might end up starting work about March or February, which means that I'll be able to leave this job a little early and head to that one out there in Connecticut, although that's right in the middle of the winter season up there in the Northeast. So looking forward to it. That means I got a little bit of stability now. I don't have to continue to live in a suitcase. I can go find a place I can have a little bit longer than what I've been doing for the last month or two. But I'm very confident that's probably going to come through, but not until January. So that's good.
So snowblowers in your future?
I got a feeling. I mean, she's really fired up. She said the person I interviewed, this is something I didn't know the last time whenever I've talked about this before, she said when I got interviewed, the senior director that interviewed me was really impressed and was really upset that they didn't have the money to hire me right then. So she was kind of upset, but she really wanted me to be there as well. So there's a couple of people that look to be pulling in my direction to come out there and work. And the job is basically to be kind of a program manager for about 4 or 5 other project managers and help get things straight, because my friend has been doing 2 people's jobs, but not getting paid more. And one of those jobs is a project manager or program manager to make things happen. So I'm still looking forward to it. I think that it's going to come through, but not until January or so. And I won't say that's a challenge or a win, but it's a win that it keeps on going. It's a challenge that it's not happening right now. But then again, I've become settled in this. Well, I won't say settled. I've gotten into this new job, and that is a win and a challenge in itself. Like I said before, is that I'm getting a lot of more, what's it called? Moxie, chutzpah with everybody. They're listening.
Yeah.
They're listening to what I have to say. The problem is that in the corporate, it seems like in this company, at least in this corporate world, is that the directness that I have, which is what is it exactly you're trying to get people to do, gets met with hems and haws instead of just being very direct. And there's a lot of admiring problems, which is something I encountered in my career. And I had a great leader back in the past who said, we don't sit here and admire problems, we solve the problems. You could admire it for a little bit, but then you got to get down to the work. And that's usually just eating the elephant one bite at a time. Instead of saying, oh, this project is so big and this is happening and this might happen and that might happen. You don't do that. You just get right into solving the problem, and it takes one piece at a time. So my civilian counterparts that I'm trying to help solve a project, which in this case is a database mapping to be able to equate it to a new configuration that they've done, it's very difficult because I'm trying to get these guys to tell me, what do you want me to tell the rest of the team that they need to do? I said, I'm not an expert at this, but I can, drive the project to conclusion, but I have to tell them what we want them to do. And if you can't tell me what you want them to do, then I can't tell them what they need to do. And we're all going to be sitting around, hemming and hawing. So that's been kind of difficult. I think they think I'm a little bit direct in just asking those direct questions. I said, is this, questions like, is this something that we can do and do the research and do it ourselves, or is it something that they can do and they need to do it? And they're like, well, they might be able to do it or they might not. And it's like, oh God, that becomes a very, very difficult thing when trying to help people solve their own problems. But people are listening and they're understanding my methodology, which is, I just went to good old 101-5 or FM 3.0, which is, find your end state, find your purpose, make sure that you understand your facts and assumptions. I mean, I just brought all training into how do you do decision making. And they're like, how did you come up with this? Well, the military has been solving problems very, very rapidly for many decades, and we've mastered how to solve problems. So this is how we approach these problems. And they're like, oh, we don't want to bring the military into us. Like, no, it's about solving a problem. So I've translated the military way of solving problems into a civilian way, and it's kind of surprising them. They're like, how did you think of all this? And I'm like, well, it's because I've been doing it for 20 years and this is how we do it. So I think they've never been exposed to just sitting down and answering those direct questions. But that's been a little bit of a challenge, is to get them to accept that, hey, you really just need to be blunt in what you're trying to do and to be able to solve those problems, and then influence folks to help them solve themselves. Another big challenge I had was that one of my friends who was with me in the military was in the 112th when I was back at the beginning of my career. He ended up passing away on Halloween, and he was the guy. He owned like a multi-billion-dollar consulting firm for logistics. And what ended up happening was he had a heart attack on the day that we were supposed to, have a video conference, because he helped me get my resume squared away, and that's kind of what I've been sending out to everybody. And he was helping me try to think about starting a consulting business and things like that. And then after 2 weeks of not hearing from him, I sent a message from him to him and said, hey, are we going to meet up next week, or what's going on? Then his wife got online and told me that that he had passed away of a heart attack. And that put me in a freaking, what do you want to call it? I was in a daze for about a week, because I mean, things were going good. He was helping me out, and it just impacted me because, I had talked to him literally on text a half hour before he ended up having his heart attack. And he's like, hey, we'll just set up another time to go talk about, we'll set up another time to talk this week. And that was the last I heard of him on Halloween. And it was a hard thing because he was just a font of knowledge. He was excited about a new job that he was getting ready, or a new company he was getting ready to set up to using AI and things like that. And then all of a sudden he's gone. It was hard because he's about the same age as me. I think he was a couple of years older than me, but awesome dude. He reached out. He was the one who got my resume squared away. We went through it for weeks, and that's what I've been sending out to everybody with his help. So that was a big challenge. Other than that, I don't have any more.
Thank you, Sam.
Yeah,
It's
sorry to hear
tough.
that, Sam.
Yeah, sorry about
It's-
that.
It's tough when you lose a friend in a connection.
Oh, well, he was instrumental in me getting this job. He was instrumental in what I'm putting out there in my resume. I mean, everybody helped with refining and everything, and he did the final finishing touches. And that's, something that he just reached out and he did that for me. He made the time to help me. And
He was paying it forward, my friend. And I know
Yep.
you'll do that as well, as you move to the next phase of your life there. Although, let's talk about your wins and challenges. And
So the challenges, the one challenge that is frustrating me is the timeline.
Okay,
I say the timeline because I have 6 months to the transition leave. And it's frustrating me because a lot of companies, like I had a couple job interviews, and they want to fill them up within 60 days. And it's so frustrating when you think about it that you have these opportunities. And like of course I tried to twist it to get an internship and everything, but some companies that they're not looking for that, they're just looking direct hire. And like you talk to the HR manager and everything, or the recruiter, and you get that email, hey, we decided to move to another person. Like they get you frustrated. And it's not that I got turned down, is that the timeline, like most of the companies are looking for a direct hire, and not all the companies. And that's one of the biggest challenges, the time. That's for me.
Can I ask what kind of work are you looking for in terms of, are you going to be working for the company, or are you going to be contracting to, of course you're going to be working for the company, but
Yeah.
are you really kind of a government contractor? So you're going to be sitting on government site working for the government
No,
through
civilian
the contract?
sector. Civilian sector. Then.
No. So it's not a government job. I get that. It's
Yeah.
a corporate job, but are you going to be doing work within the company, or are you going to be doing work for the government as a contractor?
Within the company.
So it's internal
Yep.
support. Okay.
Yeah, so that's like, and I'm sure, because I know Kelly was going like this, and I'm sure she knows that too. That's the issue that because we tried to prep ahead of time, Don, and even though when you send the resumes out, like for example, Don is the hiring manager, he calls you and be like, hey, I need somebody within 60 days, and you just freeze and you be like, okay, I have a script written. Instead, if he says that, then, or she says that, can I, say twist it to the internship? And a lot of them are really open about it. But the first thing they'd be like, okay, let me go talk, or a recruiter, let me go talk to the hiring manager. And when they come back, they go, yeah, the hiring manager is looking for somebody within 60 or 90 days. And
Yeah, they've got an
to,
immediate need. And that's the thing we've got to understand. And I think that's where Kelly was going a little bit, is we can't impose our timelines on a company, unfortunately. If they're looking to hire, if they're looking to hire for a government job, if the government wants that guy now, they've got to hire now. If it's an internal problem, most companies don't do a good job projecting their needs 3 to 6 months ahead. So it's like, crap, we're behind. I got to get somebody now. So that is really hard to be patient in that realm. But part of it is awareness about how that works. And we can talk more about that. I don't want to steal too much time, but I appreciate the frustration.
Although I'm gonna defer to something, I'll send you a message, but it's the runway, you want to be able, the company's hiring you because they're looking at what's your ROI going to be in the future. So that's the world of business, my friend. DeAndre, good morning from Germany.
Oh, did Aldo have any wins? I heard some challenges.
So the wins, the major accomplishment was that I had the opportunity to set my family up in Houston. Finally, my wife got hired, so that's a 90% of the stress already gone on my shoulders.
Right.
Yeah, so she started as a junior accountant, and my son already started daycare, and we in the process of purchasing a home instead of renting, because I was talking to some gentlemen and ladies there that deal with mortgaging, and they are realtor agents, and they said everybody was saying that it's not worth it, and some of them are family friends, and they said it's not worth it renting because you're going to pay more than you own in your own home. And we're looking on purchasing our own home, our first home. So that's pretty exciting and nerve-wracking at the same time. But
where are you going to live in Houston?
Harris County.
Okay.
Katy,
where?
or Katy, or the
good old Katy.
West Side.
Yep.
Yeah.
Know that area well. Know it well.
Home
Yeah.
ownership is good at the right time, considering your job situation and when you have the right finances for it. So we're going to talk more about that. We can talk, but you know, I'm a big Dave Ramsey fan, and some people get into how, and my sons got into it too quickly, and it cost them some because they weren't prepared for it, and they wouldn't take dad's advice, and they wouldn't talk to dad. So it's a lesson learned.
Yeah, and the other thing that I found, I mean, I'm gonna step back a little bit for the challenges, is that I saw with myself, we're trying to cram everything at once. So is, you know, certificates, schooling and everything. And, you know, learn from everybody. I drew a timeline when I started transitioning. And now that I'm, you know, going through the process 6 months out, you know, I drew another timeline. So I made what's important, what's going to give me to the 30-meter target to give me a job and everything. So I focused on those credentials. And when I land the job and start working, then I'll focus to 100-meter target and 300-meter target. So yeah, that was a valuable lesson that I learned, because burnout is real. It came to a point where I was like, okay, you know, like I'm dealing with this, and yeah, I was feeling the burnout. So that's to take that time and reevaluate yourself and take baby steps. And that's why I think Matt and Don said it is important to start early, because that's how you take those baby steps and you accomplish every task, you know, with time. So when time comes, when you are 6 months out, all you do is the networking piece and, you know, attend the virtual events and everything. So
I love your planning. I love your planning. Hey, have you submitted your application for MTR yet, Aldo? We don't have it.
I haven't received it. I haven't received anything done.
You haven't received it? Okay, we will solve that this morning.
Okay.
Deandra, good morning from Germany. Hello, Deandra.
Hi. How's everybody doing?
Good. Are you wearing a uniform today?
I am. So thank you everybody. I just wanted to say hello. I've had a lot of wins lately, so super excited about that. I was on annual training with the post office here at USAFE. So I'm a postal chief, and now I'm on active duty orders with Ramstein Post Office. So again, for me, it's a win because, as you know, when I first started with the group, I was a bit frustrated. You know, I'm kind of in a different category. I'm a reservist, and yet I'm a dependent. So again, it's trying to, reinvent myself, make connections, start from scratch, and just kind of put myself out there. And so for me, that was a challenge within itself. And then, of course, not try to strangle my husband for yet another move. So fast forward, I applied for a bunch of jobs. And I remember during one of our conversations, I don't know exactly who mentioned it about, trying to stay focused with what is it that I actually want versus just kind of being all over the place and applying for every little thing. And I know for myself, that's what I tend to do because I enjoy working. And I feel for myself in particular, I prefer to be independent, even though my husband is fine if I need to lean on him from time to time. So again, that's just a personal struggle. And so I do remember that conversation that someone did bring up. And so for myself, the big picture, although I'm kind of still a little over the place, the big picture is actually me getting a federal position in postal. So the steps leading up to that, which is why I'm in uniform, I was able to, like I said, be on orders with the post office with USAFE, and then also now I'm with Ramstein Post Office. I did receive a final job offer working for USAFE, not what I wanted to do, but I'm still grateful that I have a job. And again, I'm getting back into the federal system because I'm thinking of whoever it is that said that, it resonated with me because I'm thinking of the big picture is I'm getting back into federal because eventually my next step is to become a federal employee with Postal. And then just another win I wanted to share. It feels good to be back in uniform. You know, I'm working with a lot of airmen, so it kind of brings perspective for me as far as why I joined the military, why I enjoy leading, because you have a lot of young airmen who, you know, it's a different time. They don't necessarily understand their role and why they joined the military, or, you know, they just don't understand and kind of have a big picture. I don't know how to exactly put it, but it's just exciting to be in uniform that
I would ask
can help.
Deandra, did you know way back when why you joined as a young airman first?
I know I joined because I wanted to be a part of something bigger.
Okay. Do they say the same
But
thing?
no,
No?
I'm just talking to these
Okay.
the airmen, majority of them, they just want to do a couple years and they just, I think they don't have the leadership. You know, they've been getting promoted so quick, right? That you have young airmen being promoted to sergeants and they still haven't been taught how to be a leader. So now you have, you know, I'll call them babies, but no disrespect, but you have babies, you know, leading and training babies. So anyways, but that's my win. I just wanted to share that. I'm super excited. And thank you to everyone. Someone else talked to me mentioned something about interview. And I wanted to kind of put that out real quick. So with the interview process, I've learned through the group, you know, not to sell myself short and to kind of give the big picture and to share, not necessarily if it doesn't relate to the actual job itself, that you can also use your personal experience. I don't know who said that, but thank you. I wanted to say thank you so much because I got so much from everybody. So, but I don't have my notes because if not, I would take up all your time. But thanks again.
That was excellent. Excellent testimony. Thanks.
Thank you, Deandra. You know, we're at the point, Don, where do we want to do one or two spotlights, or do we want to do what do you think? What's your thought?
See what people have. I would say a spotlight if people have anything.
Let's do a spotlight. I'm seeing a theme here, which is the magic word called patience. Anybody want to talk a little bit more about their patience and their challenges with patience?
What tools do you guys use to be patient? I mean, I think several people have talked about it. Kelly, you started early on, and how did you get through that?
Well, previous MTR sessions had reminded me, so you and Matt, and I think my Brownfield mentioned, you just have to be patient. And the last 24 years, patience has not been a key quality. I've had it, but it's just, it's not been a requirement.
We don't get promoted for having patience, do we?
You don't.
It's like,
you don't
get things done. Let's go.
Yeah. So I, you know, the MTR sessions, hearing everybody else say the same things makes you feel like you're not alone. People are going through the same thing, and it is a little cheesy, but it helps. I also have putting things off to the side, really on a to-do list of like, hey, I do want to do that, but I think, Don, you talked about it either in a webinar or a LinkedIn post, time management versus priority management. So, and I have a couple things posted above my computer along with my DISC survey stuff, right, to remind me to work my strengths and try not to improve my weaknesses. But is it really a priority? Is it a priority for what I'm trying to do now? And then I'll be like, no, I want to, you know, it's a want versus a need kind of thing. So I have that conversation back and forth with myself and my dog. And that's what kind of goes on the to-do list. And on my to-do list, I'll jot like a warm and fuzzy time date, and then I'll put it into my calendar on my phone of like, hey, come back to this, because beginning January, I'm already going to book time with, Matt for my LinkedIn. But, so it's just assessing if it's a priority for my end objective. And then it's a daily thing of like, I need to relax. Yep, I'm reviewing my DD 214 worksheet. There's lots of errors. Let me collect all the supporting documentation, send it early so they can update it. And then just realize my patients will hopefully get it updated faster. So 9 December, I'm not running around trying to get it all done because that's my final out date. So that's what I've had to do, but it is a daily thing. It is daily. Sometimes I do say, what would Don say? Right. And Don would say, is that a priority? But that's how I handle it.
Excellent. I'm gonna make a bracelet with that WWDS. What would Don say?
I'll donate money for it.
All right. I love that.
So the idea of patience, that is really difficult. I get that. And, when you're trying to align people together is kind of different. And when you're talking about the culture of the military environment versus the non-military environment, that's something else that I think a lot of us are going to face a challenge. The classic story is, meeting starts at 8 o'clock. What time are you going to be at that meeting if it starts at 8 o'clock?
Oh, Matt, 7:50, but at the workplace, you just need to dial in at 8. If you're early, you're wasting time because you're not doing something else.
Yeah,
oh, right. Absolutely. Trust me.
Yeah, that's exactly, but it's a cultural thing, right? It's like, because we used to go and we go to a meeting or we go to an event, you do that informal networking, and it's a totally different culture with the non-military types, and we've gotten a lot of feedback. Oh, the boss showed up 10 minutes late to the meeting. It's like, what? I was here 10 minutes early and he's 10 minutes after. That's not a good look, but that's a shift that we have to make. Anybody else? Go ahead, Don.
I just lost my thought, but there's a good point about that is one thing that people in companies are complaining about now is they've lost connection with people and they're losing connection with the company. Because just like what Kelly said, and it's become the culture. If it's an 8 o'clock meeting, the host opens the Zoom at 8 o'clock and he closes it at 9 o'clock, if it's an hour meeting. And then boom, you're just into the next one at 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock. And you don't have that 5 or 10 minutes beforehand to talk when people come into the room. Hey, how you doing? How's the weekend?
Yeah.
You're not getting to know people. And there needs to be a culture shift. And there's a push on this is to get companies to open the Zoom link 5 or 10 minutes early and for the host to be there, right? So that you can start having those conversations because people are losing connection with each other. And just, frankly, we need people as much as we love not commuting and all that kind of stuff and having part of our day back. And I did it when I was there. I didn't have to travel 30 to 45 minutes downtown San Antonio, an hour and a half every day. I loved not going down there because I had freed up time, but you lose connection.
Yeah, Don, after 12 weeks, I necked it down from 10 minutes dialing into the Teams meeting early to 2 minutes. And it wouldn't be my meeting, but I would open it because I resisted so much. But those 2 minutes, there was somebody else in there and I would chit chat with them and constantly explain the Hiring Our Heroes program. And then it was like, hey, let's talk after. I just like to learn about. So it did help in connecting with people. And then you're constantly selling the internship that you're on. And then they're like, oh, wow, we have a position coming open. Let's just talk about it, see what if you fit any of it. So it is very interesting, and definitely I did see that kind of in the fellowship that I was in.
Yeah, excellent. We've got a couple minutes left. Anybody else on sorry, I didn't mean to take over, Matt, but anybody else on tools for patients?
Tools for patients, yeah.
Deandra, it looks like you're working to push the button.
I'll
go ahead, Aldo.
I just accepted it. You know, that my philosophy behind it is own it and accept it. Nothing is going to happen overnight, and it's a process. And no matter what we do, if we're trying to reach the top of the mountain in one day, it's not going to happen. It's not realistic. So you stress out, you know, you beat yourself up. Nothing is going to help. Just let it take its course, and it's going to happen. Just go do your normal things. That's how I deal with it. I just do my daily, you know, go to school, do what I got to do, go to the gym, call my family, and just a normal day. It's not going to change because I'm transitioning. It's just getting another job. You know, if you look at a civilian, he puts his 2 weeks notice and he looks for another job. We just have a paycheck to look for a job. So either or, we win. So that's how I look at it.
I think you can bet, though, that most people in the civilian companies that give their 2-week notice, they've been out there looking and working it for 3 to 6 months or more. You know, they're unhappy. They're seeing something going on, and a lot of them won't jump without having that job. I mean, look at Sam, right? You're in a job, you're moving into another job, right? Am I right?
Yeah, that's right. On patients, I think I look at it from two perspectives. I was talking about earlier when I'm working with my peers to try to solve a problem, help them solve a problem. I have to have patience enough to show them the way that I feel that they can help solve the problem, because they've been going around with this thing for like 5 or 6 months. So I said, hey, let me present another way to look at it. And they can take it or they can leave it, but you have to have patience to answer the questions to help them understand what it is you're saying, instead of just coming in and saying, we will do it this way. But help them understand the methodology that you're presenting. I had another group, I did the same thing. I went in there, they're trying to do a network extension and things like that, but they hit a brick wall because of the processes that the company has in developing or into creating new IT stuff. They had done all this work, they had gotten quotes, they had done all this stuff, but nobody had done network engineering. And they can't do the network engineering until you get quotes. Well, you can't get the quotes until you know what you want to do to network. So it was a tail chasing dog. And I finally got to a point where I said, okay, you guys have done everything that you need to do. Now you've got to put it in the system. Well, they were afraid to put it in the system because they were told that they already said the price tag was like $700,000. They were told verbally that nobody's going to pay that. And I told them, hey, guess what? You've done all the work. Now you've got to make the official system work so they can officially tell you no. So you go in there and you're going to force the process that they will officially go and create a network or solve your network problem for you, because now you're asking for $700,000 to fix the problem. They're going to go in and do the engineering to either lower that cost or make that cost no cost, or come back and say, yeah, it's going to cost us that much money. But until you force that system officially, you're just chasing your tail. And having patience to have them understand that, because they just kept on saying, well, we got told no, we got told no. And I was like, you didn't get told no at all. It wasn't official. You didn't put in your official request. They're just saying, no, we aren't going to spend that money. You put it in officially, then the person who says no has to give the official no answer back. And the patience to make them understand that, no is okay. But if you aren't doing it through the process, then you're not getting anywhere. You're just being stopped and you're just chasing your tail. The second part of patience is the patience to understand that, hey, you might have something to learn as well. If you don't listen to the folks that are talking to you about how systems work and what they're doing and how they look at things, and you have your mind is already made up, you've lost that. And that's kind of patience as well, because if you're not learning something, you're not learning how the company's working, which is kind of what I'm doing here. Is I'm learning how the company works before I, apply the way that I like to do things. But I have to have patience enough to be able to accept what's coming in and let it make my smooth brain turn into a wrinkle brain, as I like to say. I had one more thing, but I'm gonna stop there.
Yeah, we're gonna have to move to accountability. But those are good. Those are
This
good.
this is all really good, you know, and I want to get that bracelet, Kelly, with what would Don say, right? Or what would Matt say, right? You know,
You can sell it on Amazon and make a mint, man.
yeah, and fund our ongoing Giving Tuesday campaign, but we'll get back to that in a second. So
How about WWMS? What would MTR say?
yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's it. Okay, accountability time. Pat, would you like to start us with your accountability for this one?
So I think my accountability for this week or this 2 weeks is going to be hitting up the Talent Alliance and getting interviews. My goal is to hit one up a day.
Okay. I'm hoping that you listened to what Aldo said as far as how he did the reconnaissance to get into that. I think he really provides some really good insight today. And if it was me, I would reach out to Aldo and set up a short Zoom call, because I think he really has nailed the process. And Kelly, you know, what she's in her internship has also showed how she's nailed that, what I call that informational reconnaissance process. So that's my recommendation there.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Aldo?
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
I can hear you fine.
Oh, hopefully I get an internship. I'm shooting for the stars, but you know, I'm shooting for the moon, but I hope I land in the stars. So hopefully I get an internship. It's not that is required. I just want to fill that gap. And
The question is, what are you doing this week, next 2 weeks to get that?
Yeah, the next 2 weeks.
internship?
Yes.
Trying to get interviewed as much as I can and network with people.
Okay.
Okay.
Network as much as you can is pretty vague. You know,
How
I love what
often-
Pat said, one a day. So what kind of metric are you going to measure yourself against?
So I have an Excel spreadsheet that I look at it, be like how many connections and how many contact I made for the prior month, and how many I made this month. So I compare those and I build like the acid test for that. So pretty much I put the formula and it shows me if he's increased or decreased. So the same thing as the LinkedIn metrics, I just build it in Excel spreadsheet. And so far so good. It's just
I'm going to stop you. You haven't answered the question yet. I'm going to stop you. So how many interviews are you shooting for?
Oh, 1, 2 a week.
1 to 2 a week. Okay.
Just trying to be realistic. And
I hope you realize why I'm trying to get that down. If we say I'm going to do as many as I can, well, if I got one, then that was as many as I can, right?
Yeah,
And
so
you may undershoot yourself. Yeah. Thanks, Aldo.
Mhm.
Matt?
Kelly?
Is it Kelly?
Did you say, okay, I didn't hear you, Matt. So over the next 2 weeks, finish my transition and clear the Army. So, end state the 9th at 9:30, I'm transitioned. That means to me, work all the areas earlier. I probably only have 5 places left to clear, but those are the ones that I have to go in person and resolve some issues. And then Thursday through Sunday, I'm doing a Leader Transition Institute, changing focus, moving from we to me. And that's a 3-day plus a little bit in the evening. So I want to be able to focus and be present on that. That means I'm doing other things, so I have time to focus and do that seminar.
Okay.
Have you done that before, or are you just getting into that?
I
Okay.
just got into it. I saw Anne's
Okay.
post and I was like,
Yeah.
this fits my timeline. I have space.
Yeah.
Wow, this might be, and I have the box full of paint and
Yeah.
chalk and candy and stuff. So I'm definitely learning about them now.
Yeah, I want to put an endorsement on that one. 3.5 years ago, I used to be a vice president with them.
Oh, wow.
And Annie and I are both John Maxwell team members, and It's a great program, and I would encourage you to try to do it 6 to 9, 12 months out. But not to say it's not going to bring you value, but one of the big things she works on is really figuring out your niche. What is it you want to do? And she has about a half a day program on that. And then the painting, which is cool, and that painting right there
Yeah,
came from the program first time we did it. And I tell you, it was amazing stuff you learned from it. So I'd
awesome.
encourage
I'm
on that program.
excited.
There's so many good programs, and we endorse a lot of different programs. So
Okay.
good luck with that one. That's gonna be good.
Thank you.
Sam, you're last.
So I'm 2 months into this 6-month contract, so now I've got to put myself on the burner to start putting in more resumes. To insulate myself against this Pratt and Whitney contract not coming through, I've got to start on the look. So I plan on putting in 5 resumes at least a week, because I learned that spray and pray is probably not the way to go, as Don told me. And I need to tailor my resume. So now I've got some more experience that I can throw out there. I have been getting some hits on site infrastructure manager type of jobs, but I'm going to shoot for 5 a week, starting this week, to be able to, get out there and get some interviews to get set up for after this contract's over, if Pratt and Whitney doesn't come through, because I got to have a job after I'm done with this. I still haven't done anything on LinkedIn, which I'm really bad, so I'm not going to put that on my list this time. But I think that's pretty much it. Putting in 5 more resumes a week in my job search for what happens after I get done with this contract.
Okay.
Excellent. Hey,
Okay,
Sam,
good.
DISC, I sent you the DISC key code on the
Yeah.
11th.
Put that on there as well. I'll get that done too.
Okay. Just want to double check on your schedule. Thanks.
Okay, this wraps up a really wonderful meeting. It is Giving Tuesday. And if you noticed today on LinkedIn, I posted something about how we light your way. And so there's a link to our Giving Tuesday block. If you could be so kind to take a look at it, if you've got the resources to contribute a little bit, we would appreciate it. We're a nonprofit. We operate at no cost to you, but there are some operational costs that we'd be glad to share with you. You'd like to see it, but we hope you will take a look at that, and hope that you will support us. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and please share it with other folks that that have gone before you, who've done well in their transition, right? And if they are concerned about military transitioning, this is a program that would benefit greatly by their support. Thanks.
Have a great 2 weeks.
Go Cardinals.
Yes, not football, baseball.
Baseball Cardinals. I know we got that.
Baseball Cardinals. This is trading season, right?
No, they're doing well. They're playing smart.
All right. You guys all have a good couple weeks.
Thank you, everybody.
I know. Hey, Matt, did you see I'm on a Bunker Lab webinar?
Yeah, I got you.
10, and Aaron said that he would help you. He'd be there.
Good, because I don't know what the issue is with this lovely machine that I'm having today, but I got it. Okay.
Okay. Thanks. I was thinking I sent you a note last week and I couldn't find it, so I just figured I better
No, it's
tell you
okay.
again.
That's okay. I posted this morning my take on the spotlight. So take a look.
Good. Okay, I will do that. I saw you shared another one too.
Yeah.
Mentioned Giving Tuesday. So
I think we need to remind people at the end of every meeting that that this is the time. If you've got the means to support us, we appreciate it.
Yeah, let's talk more about that one. We said right up front that this is free, right? Except for your time. But then the more we start talking Giving Tuesday to this group, then what we're saying is, yeah, it's free, but we're asking you for money. So it starts to feel a little disingenuous. And I get it. And part of that's my mental piece, but
yeah, you need to unthink that. I mean, no offense, we give these guys a lot of good stuff. And
right, we do. But we've told them up front it doesn't cost anything. So that's why we were saying we were going to focus in on the alumni, people who've already gotten out, and our family and friends who've already got out and who
respectfully disagree with you. Okay.
Well, then let's go ahead and make a fee for the program.
Yeah. Okay.
Because notice we haven't gotten any, I haven't looked at flip calls, but we haven't gotten anybody
have.
in the.
I
have we-
have.
Have we raised
Now
any
look,
money?
Nope.
Yeah, so if we're only, so let's go through this in a week. You know, depending on who we sent these things to, what do we need to do to try to get them, what's going on, right? If we're sending money, if we're sending requests to the current students and they're not donating, possibly why not? If we're sending it to the alumni and we're not donating, possibly why not? If we're sending it to family and friends and they're not donating, possibly why not? And what do we need to do to fix that?
Yeah.
And I think I appreciate you telling me that I got to rethink this, but if we're only asking for the people in the program to fund it, then let's just make it a fee up front. And we'll lose a whole bunch of people, but the people we get will be serious. So we can talk more about that Monday.
We need to talk more about that. Okay. I'm just reminding people that we are in Giving Tuesday.
Yeah.
And there's-
Today's a perfect.
I'm not asking them, but I can tell you that some people can't afford it. Okay. And some people can't. I get that. But just to let them know, hey, this is Giving Tuesday. We're up there with everybody else.
Yep.
Yeah. We've got to remind.
I don't have a problem with us doing it today.
Yeah.
Because it is Giving Tuesday.
Yeah.
But we just got to be careful how often we do it.
Yeah. No, today's the day. Good day. It's timely. I just posted, on that.
What I would like to see you doing is tagging some of your friends and family who can give, because you've been talking to people at church about things, but I don't see you tagging them. So they see, so a better chance to see your post today.
I just did on Facebook too. Okay.
Did
So
you? Okay.
yes, sir. In fact, if you look on Facebook, I've updated it to show the lighting the way for military people in transition with the logo underneath it, so people can tie it together. So yes, I'm working it. Okay.
Because I in my comments this morning, I tagged every general officer from civil engineering that I know and have worked with personally, and I know care about this. So this is the second or third time I've tagged them. I've tagged them on LinkedIn, I think Facebook as well.
Okay. Well, take a look at I put the light, we do light the way, it's like that platoon leader there, our squad leaders taking those guys on a hike at the middle of the night with ropes. Yep. We're like that.
Yep.
Okay. I need to go. I got a puppy to walk.
Ciao. Bye.